A focus on remining abandoned sites. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Pennsylvania State Representative Mike Tobash. Thanks for being with us.
You're very welcome.
When we talk about the idea of coal mining in Pennsylvania, people may not realize how much energy is still generated through coal. Give us an idea as to the importance of coal in today's electric use.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I think many people don't realize how important it is. Right now about 50% of the energy that we generate for electricity comes from coal. Our citizens throughout the Commonwealth enjoy less expensive energy because coal is a very efficient method of generation.
Now let's talk a little bit about what coal means today in terms of actually getting it out of the ground. Coal mining has been a part of Pennsylvania's economy for generations at this point. But when a site is abandoned, what does that mean environmentally? What does it mean for the communities that surround it?
Well, a number of things. Look, I live in the anthracite coal region. It's really a 5-county region in the center of the state, northeast part of the state. As you drive through the region, you'll still see some mines that were abandoned from many years ago. What's important to know is that coal, the demand for coal is very high right now. Again, I mentioned the fact that we've got electric generation that depends largely on the resource. And the ability for our coal operators to go in there and mine and remine sites is important for two reasons. It's important for the inexpensive electric generation, but it's also important from the standpoint of reclamation. If these operators operate under standards that are far more aggressive than they were years ago, really prior to 1977, and as such, when they go in there and mine or remine, they do the reclamation, and we've got a product at the end that is very important for us to sell in the market, whether it be domestic markets or foreign markets. It's a big exporter. But from the environmental standpoint, we see land now that is much improved after the reclamation.
Now, you mentioned the idea of remining. Does the technology exist to go back into these abandoned sites that may have been abandoned prior to 1977, even in the 50s or the 30s, to actually extract additional coal?
Well, there's no question about it. Look, we are much more efficient on almost every front in our society today, and mining is no different. We've got the technology now, the ability to get in there and get at some of these seams of coal that, prior to this, were not mined very efficiently. So again, with technology today, the equipment we have, the standards that we're operating under, it's just great news that we can get in there, we can remine, we can have new mining operations, be very effective and efficient, and clean up our environment at the same time.
Now, you actually have legislation that you're putting forward that uses existing money to bond. Talk to us a little bit about how this would work.
Well, a number of years ago, as a matter of fact, in 2001, there was a new standard that was set as a result of a lawsuit that we needed to have a full cost bonding system in the state of Pennsylvania, which is good. It just means that operators will have to have the full cost of the reclamation put in bonds up front before they start the projects. Now, the difficulty is that in today's financial market, sometimes those bonds are difficult to get. So my legislation extends a very successful program, a program that has grown over the last 10 years, and it allows us to access this capital, these operators to access this capital for bonds for new and remining projects.
And that's how the legislation would work, but long term, what do you think would happen if more of these mines were reclaimed and restored environmentally? Well,
a couple of things. It goes back to what we were talking about before. We're going to have less expensive energy, and we're going to have a better environment. So really, it's a win-win. Again, it is an expansion of a program that has been very successful. It has grown over the last 10 years, and the account had about $7 million in it. Today, it has about $12.7 million in it, and I think that we need to take a look at every possible resource we can to make sure that we're creating jobs and, again, in turn, helping our environment.
Thanks for being with us.
Great, thank you very much.
We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Mike Tobash. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Newsmakers.